guys, I hope you've enjoyed our little change of scenery. We're actually here at Fort Pierce Inlet State Park, which is where I live and I work. It's a really beautiful park, and I've had some fun sharing it with you guys. Today we're going to be talking about some of the things that you guys can do to limit your carbon impact. And one of the best things to do is do a beach cleanup.
All these forests in Eastern Europe are beautiful, but there's been so many areas where it's been clear cut, and we kind of always try to give back everywhere that we go. So we're going to try something new for the next few episodes, and we're going to put our money where our mouth is.
Exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to let you guys help us help the planet. So for every like, it's going to be 10 cents donated to helping plant trees, 25 cents for comments longer than 5 words, and then 50 cents if you subscribe to our channel.
And hopefully this will help us grow and help us get our message out there a little bit more. Plus, at the same time, we'll be offsetting some carbon and feel really good about it. So help us help the planet.
Hi guys, I'm Turtle. And I'm Bear, and we're the Gallup Anthropologists. We're really putting our money where our mouth is. We want you guys to not only like and subscribe for our benefit, but also we want to plant as many trees as possible. So you guys helping us do that will also help us reach more people, and this is really exciting.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Make it rain, guys, make it rain. Trees love rain, and trees love to be bought and planted in the ground. Our mission is pretty simple. We think that you should travel more with your family. We think that you should travel more, period. And we think that it's actually a whole lot easier than you think to travel carbon neutral and in a way that's really good for people.
So today we're going to talk about some ways that you guys can limit your carbon footprint when you travel.
Yeah, lots of hacks and cool stuff upcoming in this video, and I'm really excited to get going, so let's do it. And one of the first things that you have to address is the most problematic part of travel, and that's actually traveling from place to place. Transportation is where you can really add up your carbon footprint when you go to a place.
Right, but luckily there are some alternatives that are much more friendly on the environment. You can do buses and trains, and sometimes that's better. Also, biking. A lot of these cities have great infrastructure for bicycling, and then there's a lot of trekking and hiking options and stuff like that.
Yeah, so there's actually people that have tried to walk around the world and people who have accomplished biking around the world, and they're calling that carbon neutral. And well, we'll tell you why we don't really 100% agree with that in a later video. It is really commendable, and you really got to be in shape to try to do that. We are not quite in that good of shape. So we're going to be driving around the world. All right. And driving around the world, especially if you want to fly home because you like your wives or something, which we tend to do, will eat up a lot of carbon. So we're doing 2 things, and we're going to tell you more about that next week. But primarily, I just want you to know that we're going to be driving, most likely, a plug-in hybrid, hopefully with a solar topper. And so that's going to reduce the amount of gas that we do, but we're going to be flying back and forth. So there's a lot more that we have to do as far as that's concerned. Luckily, some airlines, most airlines actually now will allow you to buy your carbon offset back. And so you can see that on Google Flights. You can see that on a lot of the airlines things. So the first thing I would suggest is to limit it by paying for it, because they're actually taking the time to go out and get things planted that will help you offset your carbon.
Yeah, and it really isn't that much more expensive. I think I did that for our flight to Sweden. Well, one of those flights I did that, and it was only like $100 and couple bucks more, and it's really well worth it.
Oh, I mean, like the little jumps, I think probably $100 and couple dollars might have been for all four of us or whatever, because the one that we're doing on AG and I think was $1.20.
Yeah.
And then you can really get some good carbon offset programs out there, and we definitely wholeheartedly suggest those. And I know that I just told you to spend a little bit of extra money to offset the flights, but that's just kind of an economical way of doing carbon offset. But we do like to do things that save you money and don't cost you extra money. And some of these things that we just suggested as far as transportation will be very economical for you.
We also recommend that you guys try to balance your economic impact and your ecological impact when you are looking for accommodations, because there's a lot of really cool accommodations, hotels, like tree houses, desert camps, all these really cool things that are much better for the environment and usually are even less expensive than, say, the hotel that is horrible for the environment.
Yeah, so I actually study ecotourism marketing right now, and so I could expound on this forever and ever, but for the use of shortening the time of some of our videos, which tend to go long, it is trying to find what's really important for you, because you can go to an eco lodge that costs just as much as these like glorified wonderful places in Bali that you pay thousands of dollars a night, but you also can find hostels that are super ecological, and you can camp if you wanted to. That can be really ecological as long as you do that responsibly. So you definitely want to try to balance out your level of comfort, your level of economics, as well as just what you want to do. And so hopefully after watching this, you'll think a little bit more about the ecology. But I think those are all really good pointers. And speaking of a good pointer, here is one of my favorite eco stays that we've done recently.
It was a beautiful stay here at Wadi Rum Quiet Village. One of the reasons for that is that they have some of the creature comforts that you expect at home. You get a little bit of electricity to charge things and lights, and you have some hot water for a shower. And they do that all with solar, which makes sense because you're not going to pipe electricity all the way out here. But it does make you feel a little bit better about your impact on the environment, and it was something that I really enjoyed.
Another thing I really like is we slept with Bob W. in Tallinn, and if you know about that, drop it down in the comments. But if you don't, it is really cool. It's this Airbnb really focused on ecological and green initiatives, and it was just a great experience.
As was Tallinn. If you guys haven't got that on your travel radar, you need to change it right now. But on to our next tip. And our next tip is to do activities that are both economical and ecological. One of my very favorite things to do when I first get to a city when we're doing city destinations is almost all of them have walking tours right now. And you'll give a tip to the person afterwards, but it really doesn't cost that much. You'll really get to know the area very well, and you'll probably learn some things that you can either put on your YouTube channel or that you can at least put in your memory. And I love that. It's probably the most responsible travel that you can do, but there are times where you're going to need to jump on those trains and jump on all the public transportation, or there's even Ubers now that are like hybrids or electric. I know in Stockholm, like every taxi was electric. That was awesome.
That was awesome. Another thing you can do is to shop locally. This is great for the local economy, but it's also great for the environment because there's not as much importing, so there's less fuel that's bringing everything there. Everything is locally sourced, and that's a really great way to help out.
And one of the things that we try to suggest to everyone is to shop local, and especially if you're shopping from a place that actually profits somewhere.
And then there's also these environmental tours. So you can go on bird watching, whale watching. If you're out in a park, don't feed the wildlife, respect all the wildlife, and just do your part. Every little bit helps.
And so if you didn't know it, we're both kind of glorified park rangers. So we'll probably drill that into you every video that you watch, and hopefully you watch all of the videos. because you really, really do not want to be part of the problem in a beautiful park like this. And you know, another thing that's really good that we really like is to avoid plastics. And so we've got these like special straws and special water and special filters that we bring in that I meant to use as props here today, but did not. But that's good, and it benefits with helping you not to have so many people having to go out and do beach cleanups like we saw Brendan do in the intro. It doesn't matter how like ecologically minded you are when you travel or all these different things, you are going to produce carbon. And even though I could probably argue with people about the merit of planting trees all day, I will tell you that when a tree is planted correctly, it can really, really make a difference. And you're really not going to be able to be carbon neutral, even if you walked around the world without planting some trees.
Yeah, and planting trees it has so many different benefits. The green makes you happy, and then there's carbon sequestration. So if you plant a tree in the right spot, it's the right tree, it's in an area where people are gonna take care of it so that it can grow big and tall and happy, it'll actually sequester some of the carbon, and that's like a double whammy.
And so like Brendan was saying, you really want these trees to be able to live. And so just going out into the middle of some area, like let's say you came out into this beautiful state park here and you decided you were going to plant a citrus tree because you thought, hey, you know, it'd be really good here as a citrus tree so people could eat. We definitely do that, and we plant things so people can eat. But I can guarantee you a citrus tree is not living here. No. And I can guarantee you that the park rangers aren't going to let your citrus tree live here. So what we've had to do, because we like to plant a lot of our own trees, you know, we'll still pay people to plant trees when we have like a offset we still need, but we'll try to plant trees, and you're going to see a lot more of that in the coming weeks, especially in 2 weeks when we put out our program that we're trying to help Rotary clubs become carbon neutral within the next 10 years. And Rotary Club is challenging us to plant trees in every country in the world, and I can't wait. Brendan's gonna see every country in the world, probably before he's 35 years old. That makes me jealous AF. But anyway, it's just so important, and it's so exciting to actually get to put something in the ground and then know that somebody's gonna take care of it.
One of the things that really hit me when we were in Peru was the community involvement. And here, it's just to another level. These students are going to be taking care of these trees for years and years to come, and then getting other people to take care of the trees for years to come. It's awesome. I love that everybody is so involved with this, and that maybe just this one thing will help foster a new generation of plant lovers. And not only is it carbon sequestration, but it's also community building.
And we aren't just telling you guys to do this. We've already started to do it. We plan on doing it even more. If you guys don't know, starting 2026, we're gonna be doing a drive around the world. And we're already working with Rotary, and we're hopefully going to be working with UNESCO. And that whole trip is also going to be carbon neutral. So we've already started to do some tree planting. We're gonna be doing some more. And so our route is probably gonna take a couple of years, trying to go from Western Sahara all the way around to Iceland. And I'm really excited.
And sometimes people are like, you can't drive all the way around the world, which is absolutely true. You cannot drive all the way around the world. There will be at least a couple of big boat trips that are involved with that. But we're gonna drive as much as we can. And we're going to see, I think it's like 480 UNESCO sites and over 200 national parks, and drive like 30 of the best drives in the world. And we're gonna do all of this in a way that gives back and that shows responsible travel, and then highlights all these wonderful cultures, which is super important to us as anthropologists. And so if that sounds good to you, make sure that you are following along, because we're slowly getting better. I'm actually starting to be pretty proud of our content.
So you guys might be wondering, how do you calculate your carbon, right? It's not something that's super easy to calculate unless you have the internet. And luckily there's a lot of websites and different tools and stuff to help with that. You can just search carbon effect carbon balance on the internet, and you'll come up with a few different ones. Some of them are for your household, but there are some that are travel oriented. We really like cool effect and atmosphere.
And there's a few other ones that I like. What I encourage you to do is, first off, unless you're like super math geek, MIT graduate or whatever, let somebody else do the calculations for you. Even on our world tour, we're working with Rotary to get a really big math geek who's going to do everything. So we get like restaurant impacts and hotel impacts and all these things. But it is way over either one of our math abilities. So we don't expect you to become a math nerd overnight so you can offset your carbon. But the way these things work is you enter in like how far you traveled and what you did and what zip code you were in. Sometimes we'll get you electric for hotel rooms and stuff like that. And then it'll give you a baseline number of trees that you have to plant normally. And sometimes they'll give you an option to buy it right from them, and they'll replant rainforests and things like that. So some of those are really good ways to do it. And another good way to do it, I'm going to remind you of the beginning. Like, subscribe, comment, share, and we're going to throw some money out there for you kind of in your name to start offsetting your next trip and to offset some of our trips. And we got some really cool opportunities for you guys to kind of contribute to tree planting that's coming up soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as we enjoyed making it. Just to kind of recap, okay? I know this seems like it's a lot of information to take in, but this is pretty darn simple, all right? If you watch what you do and do things that are good for the world, you're going to have less of a carbon footprint. It's as simple as that. All right, if you want to be carbon neutral, there's ways that we've taught you that you can be carbon neutral relatively affordably. And the bottom line is we just want to both be less of a problem for the world as we travel around and see all of our wanderlust destinations and the like 226 places on his bucket list. And so we want to try to impart that onto you.
Right. If you take anything from this video, take this. We want you guys to travel responsibly, explore the world in a sustainable way, and do your part to help make the world a better place. As always, find yourself on the journey.